the station that's on your side. This is News 12, NBC 26 at 11.
Coming up, it's a special day of national recognition for our fallen service members. See how a ceremony here in the CSRA is honoring them later on. But first, tonight at 11, a second suspect wanted for a murder in Burke County is now in custody. 2 men were wanted for a shooting over the summer at an illegal bar in Girard that killed 1 person and injured several people. This comes days later after North Augusta Public Safety caught the first suspect in a 6-hour-long standoff. Witnesses from Walnut Grove say it started around 5 p.m. on Wednesday when officers asked them to evacuate the area. From there, it was hours of trying to get the suspect out of an attic. By 11:15 p.m., deputies say 20-year-old Jordan Perkins was arrested after it's believed officers used gas to get him out. Burke County deputies say 22-year-old Jawandre Kelly was taken into custody by the Cobb County authorities last night and that there were no problems arresting him as well. Deputies took to Facebook to share Kelly was coming back to Burke County Jail earlier today where he'll join Perkins. We've reached out to the sheriff's office there to request his latest mugshot, and they say it's not available yet at this time. Meanwhile, 1 person is dead after a car accident in Edgefield County last night. Deputies say it happened just before midnight off of Yonsei Pond Road in the Johnston area. Deputies say a 2013 Infiniti initially stopped to let a woman out at a traffic stop, but then sped down the road as they attempted to approach the car. The car chase was short-lived for the driver, lost control, rolled over, and then was ejected upon crashing on the side of the road. Deputies say 35-year-old Brandon Pickrell died at the scene. An investigation is still ongoing with South Carolina Highway Patrol because deputies found meth and marijuana on him. An autopsy has been scheduled later as well. Plus, Georgia's Department of Public Safety confirms state troopers responded to a single-car accident last night around 7:30 p.m. Troopers say a car was driving down Thompson Highway in Warren County when it moved off the road. The car then hit a trailer in a nearby parking lot, and troopers say the victim had to be pulled out of the car, but then died from their injuries a short time after.
Up in the full forecast coming up.
Well, today was National Wreaths Across America Day, where more than 3,400 locations across the U.S. participated in the event together. Our Sydney Hood was at Sunset Memorial Gardens, where she talked to local veterans about what this event means to them.
Roughly 100 people showed up to lay wreaths on the graves of more than 1,000 veterans. Some did it for a loved one, others just for the honor and the privilege. As shots are fired and a cannon blasts, a moment of silence follows, honoring those fallen. A Fraser fir wreath with a red ribbon lays on a veteran's grave.
That's just an honor for me to put a wreath on a grave of a fellow veteran.
A Navy veteran himself, Cornelius Messer, places 12 wreaths down.
I would have put more, but I ran out of wreaths.
He didn't run out of the honor, which he says is all about
Respect. Respect to the veterans and the people that serve.
Beard, born 1948, died 2005.
Looking down at his friend, Dennis Dupuy knows the honor to be here.
And I wanted to be here when somebody laid a wreath on Dickie's grave.
And he was, introducing a new generation, the meaning behind the wreath.
It's something that's passed from generation to generation, not necessarily something you get out of a book.
The lesson here lies within the pine needle and bow.
They know a little bit more than what's in the history book that they read or don't read. Usually talking to somebody, if you can engage their ears and their eyes and their hands, they learn better.
Each wreath placed today was sponsored solely by contributions. If you would like to sponsor one yourself, look for this story on our website at wrdw.com.
Great coverage, Sydney Hood. Thank you for that. Well, high school students from Decatur walked out of their physics class this week after a teacher came back from 1 day of suspension. Students say their teacher used a racial slur multiple times in conversation before moving on with his lesson plans. One student says the teacher was trying to tell her classmates not to say it, but said that didn't mean he could use it either.
Every colored and Asian, Hispanic people were very hurt by him saying it, and they really just wanted something to change, especially because he was suspended once for 1 day and came back acting natural.
She says when he did come back, the teacher apologized, but many students say he made himself the victim. The district sent a letter to parents saying later, his behavior has no place in the classroom and will not be tolerated. Still ahead, officials in Washington, D.C. are preparing for the next January 6th committee meeting next week. Find out why they're getting back together after the break. Wow. After laying out its evidence in 10 public hearings, the House January 6th committee will meet next week to finalize its work investigating the Capitol riot. CBS News correspondent Christian Benavides has the latest.
The January 6th House panel reportedly is expected to vote to recommend that the Justice Department pursue criminal charges against former President Donald Trump.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol.
The central cause of January 6th was one man, Donald Trump.
As first reported by Politico, potential charges against Trump include insurrection, which is an uprising aiming to overthrow the government, as well as possible charges of obstructing an official proceeding and conspiracy to defraud the United States.
Donald Trump was a guy who just would not take no for an answer from the American people and set about to overthrow an election.
The referrals could also include other members of the former president's inner circle. The committee could reveal its decisions when it meets publicly Monday afternoon.
I think it's an important decision in its own right if we go forward with it, and one that the department ought to give due consideration to.
Any recommendations the committee makes do not carry legal authority, but they could put pressure on federal prosecutors making the call on whether to move forward with any cases. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
On the former president's social media site, Truth Social, he says there are several false claims that show the 2020 presidential election was crooked, rigged, and stolen. Well, with Christmas nearly a week away, many volunteers across the CSRA are finding ways to make sure there are presents under the tree this year. Parents who registered for the James Brown Foundation toy giveaway this month met around the arena today to pick up their presents. After providing a state ID or birth certificate for their kids, volunteers brought these black bags to their cars to fill to the top. We can't see what some of them got, but we can guess there's going to be plenty of smiles coming in next week. Meanwhile, one man is keeping a holiday tradition, going with a doll drive for girls. It all started last year when Richard Wilcox's mother passed away, leaving behind thousands of dolls. He decided to give them all away to kids in the community who love to play with them. Now he's brought back the drive today with more dolls outside of Hibet Sports on Gordon Avenue. He says he understands why some parents are struggling with this year from high bills and prices.
I had somebody who came today and they was like, you don't know how much this means to me because I didn't have anything to give to my daughter because of my bills. And so I told her to get whatever she wanted.
He says seeing kids smile is what pushes him to keep doing this. He did say he's not sure what's going to happen when he runs out of dolls, but he'll think about if he wants to continue to drive when the time comes. Meanwhile, Santa touched down today by helicopter at the Augusta Regional Airport today. He stopped by to visit over 100 kids for a Christmas party with the Richmond County Marshal's Office. He even got a chance to meet some of them to ask what they'd like for Christmas. This is the 5th year the airport and Richmond County Marshals partnered together for help with families in the community. Volunteers handed out a couple of Christmas presents as well ahead of the holidays. Over to South Carolina, well, even if Aiken City didn't have their annual Christmas parade last week, neighbors got to enjoy the Hoofbeats and Christmas Carols parade down Lawrence Street today. That's when nearly 200 local horse owners and carriage riders can have a bit of fun around the holidays. And you can see here some parade goers dancing together or taking a picture before it got started. One woman who moved down there says it brings her joy to go because it reminds her of parades when she went to in the past.
You always get to see people you haven't seen in a long time, and I have friends that ride horses, and I have friends that have dogs here, and the shops are all open, and everybody's just wonderful in Aiken. It truly is. It's an experience like I used to have back home in New Jersey.
She says in those previous parades she went to when she was younger, her friends would all get together with their boyfriends, go to the parades each year. It's a lot of fun experience in that area, and to have it again in her new home.
Well, we are going to stay dry for tomorrow into Monday, but our next chance for rain moving in by Tuesday, and we could use it as we do have some drought conditions around the area. The full forecast coming up next.